G'day gamers, Ranger Tony here. If you have seen a lot of the videos on my channel, you will know that I work full time, so the only time I really get to make videos is on the weekends. And that means that for the rest of the time, during the week, when I'm home from work, if I'm not editing and releasing videos, any games that I might want to be playing, I generally pick something else that I'm not recording so that I don't have problems with potentially mucking up save games and things like that. So that means that recently, while I've been doing a Baldur's Gate playthrough, and I will finish that, do not worry, but while I've been doing the Baldur's Gate playthrough, I have been playing some more Pathfinder Kingmaker. And I'm playing another party of archers. My main character is a fighter, Spectre's archer, and it's doing very, very well. But I occasionally get a little bit annoyed at the mechanics of the game. And I've done videos on this before where I've talked about the big problem with these sorts of games is that they are real-time with pause. And even if you turn on all of the pausing in the game that is possible, it is very hard to coordinate an entire party of characters to do everything that you need them to do, and to be able to do things like cast spells effectively in real time with pause. For example, I tend not to play spellcasters, and one of the reasons I don't is because you can't really use spells effectively because you don't know when it's your turn, when you're ready to cast a spell again. So while games like this do have the ability where you can pre-select a spell to use, it doesn't help you unless you really are micromanaging things, and it means a lot of pausing. And, Pathfinder Kingmaker doesn't really tell you why it's pausing. At least games like Baldur's Gate did tell you that the reason the game is paused is because this condition has been met. In Pathfinder Kingmaker, I also don't use area of effect spells, because you can try and cast one of those spells, like Fireball, for example, at an opponent, and the opponent will move, and often they'll move towards you, which is natural because they want to attack you. And so you could end up dropping a fireball basically on your own head because your opponent, in the time it's taken you to prepare and cast that spell, they've moved into melee combat range. So it becomes very tricky to use a lot of those abilities and things. So I tend not to do that. And I've known about this mod for a while, but I thought about it and I thought, I'm going to try out the turn-based combat mod. And I've got to say, it is brilliant. I'm not going to give you a demonstration on how to install it, how to configure it, or anything like that. I'm just going to do a playthrough of the game with this mod turned on and show you just how nice it is to be able to have that level of control of each of your characters as it's their turn to do things. I tend to find it makes the game a lot easier. The other two mods that I've got here are Show My Pets, which is a nice little one which covers one of the other issues I have with this game, is that you can't easily tell the health of your pet. So this one will either show another portrait for your pet, or it'll put your pet's health bar in your portrait as well as your health bar. So you can see at a glance how the pet is doing. And then I got this one for giggles, the ability to rotate the camera, which would be really nice in this game because, quite frankly, it's built in a 3D engine, and yet you really don't do anything with the 3D. So as I said, we're going to start a new game, and we're going to play Varnhold's Lot. I'm going to put everything on completely normal, turning off the tutorials because we don't need them. And we're going to create a new character. Now, we're going to use my current offline playthrough with my fighter, Spectre's archer, Thomas, as the basis for this. Now, I was going to use my Dwarven Magus build, but I don't think I will now. I think instead I'm going to do an Eldritch Scion, is it? I'm going to do my own Magus build. I just don't know whether I want to go for an Orcish build or a human build. I think I'll do human, and I'm probably going to use this unless I can find some other character portrait that I really like. Let's do this guy. I mean, he's got heavy armor on, but we're going to eventually be able to use... Actually, no, I don't. I want something like this guy because we're going to be using a rapier. So we'll stick with that one. We're going to pick Magus, Eldritch Scion. And we're going to do the Bronze Bloodline. The Bronze Dragon Bloodline. That didn't... I thought we skipped something there. We didn't get the ability to pick our hairstyle and what have you. Hate that hairstyle, but it's pretty close to what he is. In fact, if he was just smiling a little... Oh, that's pretty good. And we'll go with the thinner body style. There we go. And we did class, and we did bloodline. Skills. Okay, so they recommend Dex and Charisma, and you know what? I agree with them. So let's go 16 here. Let's stick that there. I'm going to see, can I get... Yes, we can. That looks very, very good. I'm not going for anything in the way of strength on this character because, quite frankly, he's not going to be able to... we're going to be using finesse for weapons anyway, and I'm building this one... I don't care how much damage he does from his weapon. I want him to hit as much as possible. So that's the sort of build I'm going for there. We have only 3 skill points, so we're going to take Use Magic Device, Perception, and Knowledge Arcana are going to be the 3 that we're going to use there. Abilities, we're definitely going to take Weapon Finesse. And then, look, there's a few things here that stick out. Combat casting would be useful. Dodge would be nice. The meta magic's not so much for the Magus, I feel. Spell penetration, toughness, they're all... I can't take 2-weapon fighting, or I should not take 2-weapon fighting, I guess is the way to put it. I think I'm going to take dodge. I think I'm going to want that extra AC up front. We're going to have to be using light armor initially. It's going to be a while before we can go to medium armor. Actually, not that long, because you start at level 5, so, and you get your 6th level pretty quick, I believe. I haven't gone very far through this mission. Really only just the first 1 or 2 fights. And they are, well, yeah, we'll see. Okay, spells. It's pretty simple. The 2 spells that I'm going to want are Shocking Gasp and Corrosive Touch. I'm just not sure if I should take Corrosive Touch just yet, or whether I should pick something else that could be useful, like Grease. Or even Burning Hands might sort of be useful. I'm not going to take Corrosive Touch. I know it would be useful against things like trolls. I just don't know how relevant that is. I'm going to take... Yeah, I'm going to take Grease, I think. Yep, no regrets. Let's do it. I haven't really thought of a name. Oops, helps if you're actually... there we go. Psionis, because he's an Eldritch Scion. There we go. Right, so now we've got to level up a few more levels. This will all be very straightforward. The next spell that we want, I think I will take Burning Hands. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but because I'm going to be in melee situations where there could be several opponents in front of me, I'm going to take it. Go to 3rd level Magus. And we're going to take Weapon Focus in Rapier. And we're going to take Arcane Accuracy. I hope. Hang on, does that? Yes, it does use Charisma bonus for the Eldritch Scion. That is good. Okay, and the last 1st level spell I'm going to take... Oh, I automatically got Mage Armor as part of being a Bronze Dragon. True Strike. Very good. And then we're going to increase our dexterity because we want to be able to hit as much as possible. This is definitely going to help with our AC initially as well, but the main thing is to be able to land our attack. So we're going to get Frigid Touch. That's the only touch-based spell on level 2. And then we're going to go Web. So we've now got a combination of Grease and Web that we can use to hamper our opponents. And then our last level of Magus that we're going to take, what are we going to get here? Now, we can take 2 abilities here. Fencing Grace to add our Dex modifier instead of our Strength. That is very tempting to take. Piranha Strike gives us an extra +2 damage to our... See, Fencing Grace doesn't cost us anything, which is good. Piranha Strike, though, is a bit like Power Attack. -1 penalty to hit, but a +2 bonus to damage. But you know what? I think instead, what I'm going to do is take 2 teamwork feats here. I'm going to take Allied Spellcaster, and then I'm going to take Precise Strike. Because Precise Strike is going to give us more damage. Even though I said I'm not going to try and maximize damage, that's the one I'm going to take because that's a teamwork feat that'll give everybody more damage once we give some of our other members that. Stone Call, 2d6 of damage to everyone in the area. Or Glitter Dust. Cat's Grace. One minute per level. It's a decent buff. Or I could take something like Mirror Image. No, I'm going to take Stone Call. Okay, and we're ready to go. Varnhold's Lot. There are some stories that resemble the last, fleeting beams of sunlight as the sun sets in the fog. It gleams and disappears, leaving perhaps a bright trace in someone's memory. One such story is of a town called Varnhold, and I, an author still unknown to you, shall convey it in ever-truthful and exciting detail.
Lords and ladies, today we are here to honor 3 brave people who have done the impossible. They've tamed the stolen lands. Baron Hannes Drelev, the new master of Glenabon, Captain Maegor Varn, the conqueror of Dunsword, and finally, the tamer of the Shrike Hills, who put an end to the atrocities of the Stag Lord's bandits. Step forward. On behalf of the people of the free city of Restov, I I confer upon you this noble title. Rise, your grace. Step forward. On behalf of the people of the free city of Rostov, I confer upon you this noble title. Rise, your grace.
Thank you, Lady Aldori, distinguished guests. It is a great honor for me. It is with the greatest joy that I announce the founding of my barony in Dunsward. It shall be called Varnhold. But I must say that this happy event is not mine to claim alone. The stolen lands would never have yielded to me if it weren't for the valor of my friends and companions. Now I would like to introduce my right hand, a hero without whose help I wouldn't be standing here now. Please, step forward.
So I actually look forward to I think the next big thing in games will be that, and it is unfortunate that this is a possibility, but I think the next big thing in games will be the need to not use voice actors anymore. Instead, you'll be able to have a computer-controlled voice do all of the voices in the game. And that will be interesting because it means that they won't have to skip out where your character's name is. When you build the character, you'll actually be able to give it hints as to how to pronounce the name, and you'll be able to hit a button and have the voices pronounce it. And if they get it correct, then you can move on, and they can actually use that name throughout the game. So let's have a look. We've got a rapier here ready to go. I am going to chuck one of these torches in here as a spare. I think I'm going to get rid of all of those scrolls. I might grab that lantern for now. No, I didn't think you could do that. Okay. I don't believe that there's anyone here that is super urgent that you talk to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little speedy up while I rearrange my all of my spells and abilities here on the bar, because this is driving me nuts. They're all over the place. So let's see. So, yeah, there's only a couple of people in here that you can really talk to. There's this one here. And there's nothing all that meaningful in it. And really, you can only also talk to Jamandi Eldori, and that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to come down here and we're going to talk to Magar. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Varn, my dear friend, would you please be so kind as to explain what devil take you've been doing? I've financed this venture with my own personal funds, not to mention all the effort and time I've invested. And pray tell, what was it all for? For you to assemble the fruits of our labors and pitch the whole lot down the privy?
Fruits? I've been busy guarding these fruits from Brevoy's incessant fruit moths. But I'm a baron now. We finally have our own land. For the first time in our lives, we're independent. No one can tell us what to do. And you want to destroy everything we've achieved by inviting spies into our house? Of course, why not? Please, do come in, eavesdrop, sniff around, take whatever you please. Cephal is generous. He said make yourself at home.
Oh, Asmodeus, Please give me the patience to withstand this nonsense, or take my soul already. Varn, what are you saying? What is this independence you speak of? We depend on Restov for literally everything, from the inflow of settlers to the food to feed them. I like Jamandi no more than you do, but it will take us years to free ourselves from her influence. Right now we must bow to our patron, brag about a title we received from her very hands.
Listening to you is disgusting. Did we claw away our own piece of land, only to keep toiling away for all those... Ah, friend! You're right on time. Come, be our arbiter.
Ah, friend. Yes, see, it would be good if they could say my name properly. Anyway, what are you arguing about?
The fact that Jamandi Aldori has generously offered to Magar the use of her envoy. And who is Jamandi Aldori? The very same one who created our barony, and who could make it disappear with a flick of her finger. An insignificant figure in the grand scheme of things, no doubt. But good Varn refused her. And to top it all off, he rather suggestively hinted that he considers every single one of Brevoy's diplomats to be spies.
What else should I consider them? Cephal, have you grown foggy in your old age? I can hardly recognize you. You've always been a hardliner. You've always put the interests of our ventures above everything else. And now you want us to roll over on our backs for the Aldori, wiggle our tails, and wait to be petted. We're an independent state now, and we shall have it known to all that we won't be ordered about.
Magar, of course they're spies. You refused the spy in plain sight. Congratulations, well done. Now the Sword Lords will send other spies, ones we won't even be able to see. Restov has invested a great deal in our barony. He is ready to invest yet more. So why bite the hand that feeds us before the feeding is over? We could at least pretend to be humble, so long as we're still getting something for it.
Well, for one thing, that's low. By accepting Restov's handouts, we're taking on certain obligations. I know you don't care a fig for morality, but think of our reputation. Who will want to deal with us if we steal from our employers and stab them in the back?
Why do you keep saying us and our? Do I need to remind you that you're a baron now? That is the difference between you and me. You were born of a noble family, and yet even now, after receiving lands and power, you continue to think like the leader of a band of thugs. But my parents plowed the soil, and I learned to read by moonlight. But even as a snot-nosed child, I tried to think like a ruler, a king without a kingdom. After decades, my plans and schemes are finally bearing fruit. I shall not allow you to destroy everything we've created with your stupid pride.
I'm going to side with Magar.
I will tell you one thing. If you engaged battle as clumsily as you're playing politics, all of us would be long dead by now. Caution, restraint, tactical finesse. When you're on the battlefield, you seem to remember what these things are. How is it that you've forgotten all of it now?
With all due respect, Cephal, I'm still the military leader here. You've called me hot-tempered and reckless many times before, pleading that I'll get all of us killed. But look around. We're still alive. Don't be a coward now. I know what I'm doing.
That is true. You have saved us more than once. Apparently in order to valiantly ruin not just a party of mercenaries, but an entire barony. All right, enough arguing. What is done cannot be undone. You spoiled my game quite a bit, Magar, and I will not forget it in a hurry. We shall try to play with the hand we were dealt. Celebrations are over. It's time for everyday life. I suggest we exchange bows with the respected hosts and set off to Varnhold. We have much work to do.
Well, let's go. Varnhold awaits, but I think that this is a good time to leave this episode. So I hope you enjoyed this new episode of our Varnhold's Lot playthrough of Pathfinder Kingmaker. Pathfinder Kingmaker, yes. If you did, please give us a like and share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to keep up to date with all the latest episodes, and I will see you for the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.